Mode here in 3, 2, 1. Let's get going.
Boom.
So, welcome everybody back to another episode of the Lodgz Podcast. This is episode 61. A little bit of context here before we get started and introduce our guests. I know it has been about a month since I last dropped a podcast episode. Life has been crazy. It's been very busy. But I'm excited to get back to it. We're starting this live format now on Twitch. I was telling Sweat right before we got started, this is kind of the first time that we've done this live on Twitch, so I'm pretty pumped about that. But for all you guys, that tune in on Apple and Spotify, this episode will be dropping there as well. So kind of just wanted to preface it with that, but let's hop into it. So to introduce our guest, again, like I said, this is episode 61. Our guest is SweatPapi. That is what he goes by, but we've been talking about that. He's the owner. Yeah, he's the owner of Sense of Quality, which is an internet and stream optimization company that works with content creators and pro players. And a little background about him before he begins to talk. End of September, he worked with some of the players from Dallas Empire, including Crim6. He's worked with Scump, that we all know from Huntsman, and Simp from Atlanta FaZe. So he's worked with some really cool guys lately, doing some awesome things. So, bro, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, brother.
I'm pumped to have you. So we're just gonna get right into it, dude, because I got a lot of things I kind of want to ask you about. I want to hear your journey. I think other people want to hear it. But now that we're like officially live and everyone on the podcast version can hear, do give us, I think a good icebreaker would be like, give us the background of the name. How did you like come up with SweatPapi? What does it mean?
Oh man,
what's the origin
gonna
story?
Start me off with that one. SweatPapi, bro. All right, so how did I come up with it? That's a good question. So basically, dang, I really that's a real tough one. But I used to be like a sweat back in the day, because I actually before this used to play competitive like CWL, CDL format matches.
Okay.
So we used to always play stuff like tens and stuff like that. Some people might like remember like the SweatPapi tens or something. That's what we used to call it. So we used to like just try our hardest in those tens. And I believe that's how I like just came up with the name in general. Yeah, that's a real weird name. But like regarding Sense of Quality, I came up with that name because basically I believe in like my thing in like the gaming platform, or like gaming in general, or esports in general, just with everything I do, there's like a real disconnect with people and like brands in general. Brands have it's really hard to tell what's the best monitor. For example, if one monitor is named MSI Matrix Optiplex 2000, you know what I mean? And like the other one's named the same thing, but one letter off. So people usually don't focus on like the details of that, the details of like streaming, for example, like your mic audio sounds absolutely nuts. Like, so that's really nice. Like those little details make a huge difference, especially in like the gaming world.
Yeah.
And that's what I started to notice. So I started doing like network optimizations, stream optimizations, and now we're like starting on like apparently PC optimizations. Like it wasn't a thing at the beginning, but now it's like so much of a demand for it. Like everybody's like, oh, okay, I just want the max frames, do this, do that. Right. And I'm like, all right, like let's do it. So now we're doing that too. So it's just basically just to help provide the max quality out of what you have, for like the least out of your pocket, basically. So it's a service where you buy it and you know exactly what's going to be the max quality without you having to buy, for example, like the most expensive mic or something like that,
right,
to get the same quality. So yeah, so it's like a sense of quality. That's why I came up with it.
I like it. I mean, I think it's huge, dude, because I mean, I think we all know that, especially if you're like someone that's trying to get into streaming, like it's expensive to get a setup, and it seems like you're saying, like you got to buy the like top end stuff, or that's the perception, in order to like have a quality stream.
Because people don't know, like when somebody comes into your stream and you have something like a gaming Astro mic, I don't know if you've been in those like streams where somebody's like mic's like rattly,
Yes.
it's like staticky and stuff like that. Like your viewers, like it's all about first impression. Like if they hear that mic, they will leave your stream quicker just because it might not be like bad to them, like off the bat. But like in the long run, when you're watching a stream for like 30 minutes, you're watching a stream for an hour, or even a YouTube video, it's all about the audio and like their comfortability. Right. So if they don't like that, like subconsciously they'll leave. Like it's a higher chance of leaving.
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely like an importance.
No, I'm with you. Well, I know we kind of got ahead of ourselves, but I did want to get like just a background, a little bit about you, like, you know, let everybody know on the podcast, you know, like where you're from, you know, kind of your career path. And then if you want to transition that into how Sense of Quality got started, like where the idea originated from and when you got started with that, that'd be cool.
Gotcha. So I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. It's like a Caribbean island.
Okay.
And basically, dang, my career path's like actually insane, dude. All right, so like it's actually insane. So basically, I started at the University of Central Florida, and my career path is basically biomedical and a minor in nanotechnology. I was always like intrigued with mathematics and stuff like that. Like I took calculus classes and like some advanced calculus classes for no absolute reason. Basically, like my advisor was like, dude, like what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You're trying to be like a doctor or something. So I took like advanced like mathematics and stuff like that in my college. And then what happened was, which is weird, because I was actually I was actually pursuing going to like medical school and becoming like a neurosurgeon and specializing in that. But then this came up. So I was an avid gamer. Like I was an avid gamer, and basically like I used to play like a lot too. I used to play like a lot of competitive games, and I got into competitive. And dude, like once you get into competitive and like gaming, like once you get into like the esports realm, you're never looking back. Like you could never look back and be like, okay, this public match where like me getting 100 kills is like nice and stuff like that. That's what I realized. Like gamers have like a natural like fiend for like just being competitive in general, like trying to be better every day.
Right.
So I had like I am located in Florida now.
Wait,
and the thing Orlando, Florida.
I'm in Tampa. So we're like,
oh, you're in Tampa?
Yeah,
oh, 2 hours away. Yep.
My bad. I don't mean to interrupt. My bad. Just wondering.
Oh, no, you're good. But like you should know, in Florida, our internet, like everybody complains about Florida internet. Like our internet's known to be really bad. We share like Wi-Fi with like the alligators outside. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so right. Basically because of that, I started getting into like this networking thing. And it was super random. So like I went Facebook Marketplace because I couldn't afford like the kind of routers like I'm doing today. Like people are buying like 350 plus routers and stuff like that. Dude, I literally, for my first router, I went on Facebook Marketplace. This girl was selling like a R7000 for like about, I believe, $50. And I went to pick it up. Picked up the R7000, came home. It was working fine, but I couldn't log in. Like I couldn't log into the actual router.
Right. And
it turns out the router had a third-party interface where you couldn't like. It was called Advanced Tomato, where it was like absolutely ridiculous in difficulty, especially like if you were a beginner. So I had to, and this was like absolutely random, but I actually had to hack into my own router that I bought and basically learn all those like separate configs and stuff like that. And I went through that grind. Then it got into like Netgear Gaming's like Net Duma routers and stuff like that. So that's basically how I started with that. The stream optimizations and stuff, I just had a knack for that just because I always want my stream to look good. Who doesn't want their stream to look good? You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, that's how that started too. So so yeah.
Dang, so you went from like wanting to be a neurosurgeon to gaming and esports, like working full time into it. So that's like
because I didn't know like that this was going to like blow. I don't know, like increase in popularity, like how it is now. I always a funny story. During those 10s I was talking to you about, I always talked to my guys about, dude, imagine if I did like Scump's internet. like that was actually a topic that we talked about in the past. I was like, dude, can you imagine if I did like optimized Scump's like internet? And I never thought it was gonna like become a reality.
Yeah.
So yeah, here we are today. So life's crazy, man.
That is crazy.
Life's crazy.
It's crazy. So how did you? So I know you mentioned like you picked up that router, you kind of played with it, you hacked into it, which is crazy. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, hacked into it. And dude, I knew zero coding. Like it was like an interface that pulled up. I'm like, what in the world is this?
So
like,
you had never done that.
It was a hyperbolic, bro.
So you had never done that before. You just kind of like figured out.
I've never done that before.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just had like a niche for it, I guess. So like I loved it, so I just kept it rolling basically.
And so you just kept like teaching yourself about like how to optimize networks, and then when did you when did all this start? Like how many years back did you first start like helping streamers out or content creators?
So that's the thing, like optimize, like actually doing other people's optimizing. I didn't do that for a while because the thing about like optimizations and stuff like that is when somebody tells you, most people before like I came into like the field, most people would have been like called internet gurus.
Okay.
Per se, like, so those internet gurus would come in, change your, for example, DNS and stuff like that. And you would have like the placebo effect of it like being a difference. And most people didn't trust like those kind of people or that kind of like a topic. So it was rough starting out. Like it was rough because people took advantage of other people's like lack of knowledge on the topic, and you couldn't trust those guys. So I was like, dude, let me go through everything that your internet basically has, your lines, your cables, your ISP, what's like the structure, what's the procedures of every single ISP, and let me find out like what's the most optimal basically settings, most optimal like location or like infrastructure for your particular ISP. And then I could bring that value to you, and you have a guaranteed benefit of getting reduced latency instead of just like someone just saying, oh, change your DNS codes, bro. like instead of like something like that. So it was really like hard to get off the ground because of just that lack of trust in like the esports community.
Right.
But once, I believe like the thing that really made it explode was I had to find a way, and this is like important for anybody trying to get into esports.
Yeah.
Or like an esport business or something like that. I had to find a way to gain that trust from the community. So actually how it like took off like immediately was me saying, yo, you know what? Whoever has internet problems, like I just posted a tweet on Twitter, whoever has internet problems, I'm going to do free optimizations for you for a day, free of charge. Like I'm just going to do it completely free. You don't have to pay me anything. I'm just going to tell you what's the best for your internet. And I literally sent them like extended essays of like what exactly they have to do.
Right.
And people actually took an interest in it and loved it. And from there, like they shouted me out and stuff like that. And it blew up. And eventually like I started proceeding to like the amateur or challengers side of things, which is like the level under the CDL currently.
Right.
And I had like big opportunities with people like Zinx, Fire, and stuff to optimize their connections. And from their success, and I've moved on to like the CDL basically,
Right.
and I've had opportunities, thank God, from like Pander, Proto, and stuff. So then it's just been like a constant increase in like skill level and stuff like that. So it's awesome. Like I have to thank those guys so much, because without them, like I really couldn't have like done this or anything.
No, are you a Gary Vee fan by chance?
Oh, dude. Am I? Come on, bro. Like, just do it. You just gotta do it, and you have to do it for free. Like when he told, bro, I watched that episode before I start. Shout out Gary Vee, bro. I watched that episode before I start. I'm like, I watched it a few weeks back, and I'm like, bro, this guy's delusional. Like, what is he saying? Like, you can't do anything for free. Right. But I watched it again, and I'm like, oh, dang, like that would be interesting, and I did it. And then it literally works, bro. Like if you're trying to like prove your value, like just do it like just literally do it for free. Like just do it for free. Because it's more, when he said like something like, oh, it's better to be like under Shroud's video as his thumbnail artist, rather than like Shroud paying you. I didn't believe that, but like now that from my understanding today and like how my business runs, like money is really, I mean, money is like not the top kind of value that like people could bring to you. Like it's all about trust, relationships, and stuff like that. That's really more important. So yeah, man, Gary Vee killed that. Gary Vee, like he's literally like the man.
Yeah, no, shout out, dude. I can relate. I won't talk too much, obviously, because I'm interviewing you. I don't want the episode to be about you, but just to mesh here for a second, my business is on financial services and gaming and esports, and that's like,
dude, that's an interesting one. Like that's one I haven't heard about before, and literally, what I find about like your sorry to interrupt you, bro. No, because I love like just interesting like kind of businesses and esports and stuff, because everybody used to tell me, bro, like optimizations will never be a thing. Like I used to hear that all the time, dude, because there wasn't a market for it. But there's not a market for it until you start a market for it. And once you start a market for it, like then it literally blows up. So that's a crazy one, bro, because most gamers don't like, we're so bad at like finances, bro. Like like APR and stuff like that. Like I had no idea what that meant, bro. So yeah, definitely that's a huge one, bro.
Yeah. And I've been doing it for a year and a half now, and slowly grinding, building it. But I can relate with you on, like you're saying, like the trust and getting your name in the community, because it's something for me too, and I think it's so new to the space that a lot of people are like, like, do I really need this? Like, how do you trust this so much? So I can understand the grind of like even just trying to get the trust of the community, so then you can really like deliver all the value that you have to deliver. So yeah, just to plug the mesh with you, I totally feel you on that. And you even have, I know you mentioned like you would like send them everything, right? And you'd be like, hey, look, like this is what you can do, blah blah blah. You have those documents up, don't you? Because I was checking out your link tree and I saw that you have like 4 or 5 documents there that will literally like show you all these different things you can purchase and use.
Dude, yeah, dude, like literally, and people still ask me like, what router should I get? Like, people like, I literally like looked exactly on just the forums, like what you have to do, and that's for free. Like I'm listing what you have to do, what your connection is. If you have this kind of a connection, get this. If you have this kind of connection, get this. So that form actually saves people a lot of money. And I just give that out for free, just so even if you don't get like the internet optimization, at least you have like the good infrastructure, or like the correct infrastructure. People used to be like, oh, dude, like, this guy's talking about like network infrastructure. Like, what does that even mean, bro? And that's actually a huge thing. Like, I used to always, so back to like when I used to always do like optimizations and stuff, Netgear Gaming and stuff like that, Netduma, because I used to work on their routers more, and like I recommended like their routers. Dude, like the brand manager, he literally reached out to me, and he was like, because he was like, who is this dude? Like, like they didn't know exactly like who I was, bro. Like,
right.
or anything like that. I just loved their product and I recommended that to people because it's easy for you as a gamer. It's like useful. So like he reached out to me and he's like, oh, okay, like what do you do and stuff like that. So now like people have that space. People have like I could reach out to them for help regarding like network infrastructure. I could read you could read my guide on network infrastructure, like with the SweatPapi Mega Savings Guide. And dude, I literally like in that guide, I go over what PC is the best for you. Exactly, like if you're looking for a budget, oh, you have a $1,000 budget, $2,000 budget. These are the questions like people don't answer because it takes so long. Right. I go through exactly what you have to get for that budget that's going to give you the most value. Stream, oh, I go through exactly how to get a really good stream without breaking the bank account. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because one mistake I made was buying this camera, dude. And I actually got like a really good deal off of it because of my friend Jose, and like he's really talented in cameras. So shout out to Jose for that. Thank you. But literally, like on Twitch, what people don't realize is that you can get a camcorder for $100 that will literally, for the viewer, be the same quality as this camera that I have. And literally, like the viewer won't be able to tell the difference. And it's like $600 less, for example. So literally, like that's the kind of stuff or like hacks that like I focus on doing.
Yeah, which is huge because again, I think that a lot of people, and I mean rightfully so, right? We all like to be like, yeah, I have this brand, you know, I've got Adidas, I got Nike, you know, people like throwing out the brands.
Yeah, I got a Scuff controller.
Yeah. Right, but to your point, like you got to get started at some point. Like, you know, not everybody can just get into this thing and, you know, spend $5,000 on a setup and, you know, go all out
exactly
on it, you know, whatever. So, but the fact too, what I think was cool about you, and like I said, I was going through those documents, is the fact that even if they don't work with you, it's so cool that you're like even just providing it for someone. Because I think that's huge for you on the back end, man. That pays, you know, the dividends in the back end where like, okay, I couldn't afford Papi then, or I didn't work with him then, but now because of what he gave me at the beginning, now 3 years later, like I really need him and I'm gonna go hit him up, you know? So I think that's cool how you do that.
That's actually, bro, that actually, and I didn't expect that to happen. I just wanted to give people, like, dude, honestly, like, I'm no sales rep. Like, I'm horrible at sales, man. Like, I'm so bad. I gotta work on it. But I just wanted to give people like the most value possible. So even if you don't take like my product or anything like that, even though I know like my optimizations make a huge difference, if that's like too much for you currently, that's fine. Work on yourself, work on like your side of things, like work on getting the valuable products, because once you go back and get my optimizations from like getting the stuff I recommended, I could do 2 times a better job because you have the better products. So I would love like for that, like them to just focus on themselves, like get those type of products first. And then when they're ready, like when they feel like it's comfortable or like they're ready to like get like the maximum quality, then you can come to me. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's a step-by-step process, you know?
Yeah.
But okay, I wanted to ask you. So I know you are partnered. You know, your company's partnered with Netgear Gaming. Is that right? I saw that in the bio. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that's pretty cool. Like, and I know you mentioned the brand ambassador a couple of minutes ago that, you know, he like found you and he's like, you know, who is this guy? But how did that conversation actually get started? Because I mean, I think that's pretty dope that, you know, you work with them, you recommend their products, and you're partnered with them.
Yeah, so my 2 partners currently are Netgear Gaming, Ping Plotter. We're working currently on like a partnership with NetDumo, who those are like the people that make the software and like the R2 routers and stuff like that. But basically, his name's Ben. Like, I love Ben. Shout out to Ben, bro. Everybody at Netgear, when I was like doing it, was like, who, like, what is this guy even doing? Like, they're like, what is he using like our routers for? Because I was doing like pro players and stuff like that. And I actually reached out to Ben, and he was like, oh yeah, I was just about to reach out to you because everybody at the office Netgear Gaming was like, what do you do? And so we basically went in a voice meeting, and I just explained everything like I did just to improve like people's value, and just to explain like what their particular item does, or like their routers do, because most people don't trust gaming routers and stuff like that because they don't know how to actually use it. It's not like the router, it's the person's like experience like changing stuff in a router. Because I would even say like if you go into like a router for the first time, for example, like when I first went into like that crazy router, it was absolutely killer software, dude. Like it was really useful, but I didn't know how to use it. So how much value does that provide me? Right. So I was teaching people like how to use it, exactly what to do, what's the best for their setups, and saving them like the thousands of hours that you have to go through on like Google and stuff like that to like get just the optimal infrastructure and settings for your particular network. So that's how it started with Ben. Eventually, like, so Ben, a crazy story. I was actually like, oh, Ben, is there like a way I could get like a partner or anything? And at that time, I wasn't like as big as I wasn't working with as big as clients I currently am. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, I don't know, because they usually give out partnerships to people like, I would say like Scump, people that are high pro players in that field, because it's like Netgear. It's like the number one, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's the number one like routers. Like, why would they give out a partnership to like a random person? And then I literally told him, I'm like, okay, you don't have to give out a partnership to me now. Let me prove my value. And then with what I'll do is with that value that I'll provide to your company, you're going to come back to me and you're going to give me a partnership. And literally it happened. Like it happened. So after like a time, he came back. He was like, dude, like you did so much. And we just want to offer you this partnership. And ever since then, like it's been awesome, man. But yeah, those like Netgear Gaming, those are really cool people. NetDuma, yes, those are cool people too. And yeah, man, like all they want is like the best for the community. Right. And that's it really. Like they just want what'll make your experience as a gamer just more enjoyable. Yeah. Because nobody likes like packet loss, high ping and stuff like that. Like, so you know what I mean? Like you want to be killing, like if you're playing like a FPS, you want to be getting those headshots. Like you just want to be the best gamer you are. So that's what they focus on.
Dude, and I see so many people throughout my Twitter timeline, you know, week to week, month to month. It's like, man, my internet crashed. Man, my stream went down. Dude, you know, like, a lot of people, it's a common issue. And I mean, I don't know, speaking for myself, like if I'm playing or like if I'm trying to stream, like that is something that will trigger me so fast because like it's just like something that obviously I enjoy doing. So if I can't do it, then it sucks, right? Because it's like
exactly.
Like, you know, now
and dude, like imagine if you're like a Scum or like imagine if you're a Scump, a Shotzi, like a Crimsix, like with those Clacer, like with huge brands, and like you have like thousands and thousands of people on like your podcast, right? Or like your live or something like that. If it goes down, imagine how much money you lose, like from that. For example, when Scump was doing having his issues, it was in the worst timing possible because Cold War's Alpha was releasing and everybody was playing that, and he's actually partnered. So literally, if he's not live, like that's a lot of money that he's like losing. So I was just trying to help him with that, and it really provides its value to the end. So yeah, dude, like the problem I believe is that if I'm Joe, you're Lodgz. If I'm on Twitter, I see your posts. I haven't done like any research. All I know is my setup. Mm-hmm. I come to you, try to help you out, but I don't know like your particular setups, what's like most optimal settings, and I'm doing it for stuff based on my setup. It's not gonna work. You know what I mean? Unless it's like the same exact stuff. It's not gonna work at all. So that's where I feel like people had an interest in just like my optimizations, because it's not just, oh, I'm gonna give the same settings to everybody. It is not even close. Like, brother, like it's so different. Like I can't even explain how different like everybody's setups is. That's one thing that really surprised me. Because when people said when people were talking about, oh, all setups are the same, I was like, no, it's not. There's no way it's the same. But doing this, like doing over like 1,000 optimizations and stuff, like it's no way it's the same. Like not I can say there's no way anybody says the same. Like you could literally be someone's neighbor and have a completely different kind of optimization from them. Literally, it happened. It happened. So that's why like it's so important to do that, dude.
Well, and I think too, like I don't know, like I feel like growing up too, whenever you had an issue with your computer, like the automatic thing is to like go to a buddy and be like, hey, like what did you do, right? Because I'll just do whatever you did and then it'll fix it for me. And you took one of my questions away from me, man, but that was what I was going to ask you. I was going to be like, is it different, person to person based off of, what goes into that? Is it just their PC and their Wi-Fi, or is it also based like on where they live, or is it just like a bunch of different factors that changes person to person?
It's so many factors. Like, for example, for like network optimizations alone, it's your router. People think that I only touch your router. It's looking at your router, your modem, your lines, the cabling in your house, how many people are on that particular line, because you as a consumer you're not gonna know that information. So the average of people on that particular line, your location, how far are you from like the aggregate server, how do they route their like traffic and stuff like that. So I take all those into account for your PC, like for your stream. Like I started that. I actually remember why I started my stream optimizations. When I streamed, I literally, like right now I'm on like a $200 PC. I need to upgrade. I need to get a new PC. But I wanted to stream, but I just didn't have like the money for like a huge like streamer, 6,000, 900K like PC. So this $200 PC, I got it to work as good of quality as you can possibly get. And like that's in my guide currently, like how to get like a PC for like only $300 to stream in, because you don't have to like splurge money on that. You can splurge money like somewhere else, like take care of yourself, take your like a girl out to lunch or something, like, you know what I mean? And like save money that way. And it could, like, that's another thing. Like with FPS gamers, people want to stream and play on the same PC, and they'll like buy like the best kind of graphics card, for example, to do that. If you just spent $300 on a streaming PC and you had your own gaming PC, you wouldn't have to spend $1,000 extra just to get those same frames. It could save you a lot of money. So that's like one thing I focus on my guide too. Just to like save people money and stuff. And like what I'm hoping for is that I save you, it's called like the $6,000 like mega savings guide or whatever. I save you so much money. Like I save you so much money in like the stuff that you get and like the quality that you get, that you're gonna have to come for optimization. Like, you know what I mean? Like it saves you so much money that to the end you're gonna be like, oh dude, like I got like $1,000 to spare. I might as well get an optimization with it to make sure my stuff is the best. So that's really like how a lot of people like get onto my optimizations and stuff like that. So yeah, you brought up a point with that. Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Cause I was going to ask you, like, do you think, just off the top of your head and with the experience you've had, do you think that too many people, or like a lot of streamers that are especially maybe getting out, do you think people focus too much on like the PC setup and the equipment setup and not enough like on the network optimization, or like you're saying, kind of allocating that money a little bit more spread out?
Yeah, dude, bro. All right, so for top players like in the league, I'm coming from like a place where I couldn't even afford like the routers I was optimizing. So that's like the place I'm coming from. So I guess it's a perspective basis. These are players like in this COD league, players make like 50,000 minimum, and the top players make like I can't even imagine how much they make, like 300 plus or something like that, something crazy. And you can literally ask them. They're always like, "Oh, should I get like this really expensive mic, for example? Should I get this really expensive audio for like my stream setup and stuff?" And I tell them, dude, like, why would you need that? I'm like, dude, don't get that. Like, just get this and save money. They're like, bro, but it's only like $400, $500 more. That's nothing. I'm like, bro, like save money, use it somewhere else, like invest it, because that's what players, and that's why we need like your businessman. Like that's where players lack. Like it's just a monetary value. Like you're making that much now, but you got to make it where, as Gary Vee says, like passive income where it works for you in the future. You know what I mean? I'd rather you like save that $500, and by saving that $500, you're still getting, it's not like you're not getting like the most quality out of it. Like you're still getting the same exact quality. For example, this camera, the same exact quality as this camera. And with that $500, you could like invest it into like a, I don't know, like a stocks or something like that. You know what I mean? Like a retirement fund. So I would rather you definitely like use your money like to do that. That's why I focus on like a sense of quality.
Listen, I talk all the time. We talked about it here on the podcast with past guests. I talk about it like in my own personal content. Like you're just saying, like there's no need to overspend, because at the end of the day, man, like you're not going to be doing this forever, right? Like you can't be you can't be a pro COD player for the rest of your life. Like I mean, maybe you could be a streamer for the rest of your life, because I've seen some like older people streaming, and I mean, but still at the same time, like, you know, it's not always going to be here. So I love that you spread that message. It's a good message to spread. So
exactly, and that's where players need to focus on, not only optimizing just like everything that they have. I feel like optimizing everything that you have is way more valuable. That's why like I work with so many COD players now, because before like people didn't know the difference. Actually, like the actual time that people started noticing the differences when champs happened, Call of Duty champs, everything was switched to online. Players like really had like no idea of just the advantage you can have like online and stuff like that. So for every team, like I offered to do free consultations, just do free optimizing for like all of their players for free, like absolutely free. I believe the only two teams that really took me up on it was just not the actual team, but the player from Seattle Surge, like Panda and Proto, they took me up on it. Some players from Los Angeles Gorillas, like Aqua and Blatz, they took me up on it, and they actually performed well at champs too. And then the Dallas Empire. So like with Dallas, it's actually a funny story. So many funny stories.
We love the stories here. So
yeah. So like with Dallas, it's actually an interesting one. It's Clayster. It was Clayster, Crimsix, Illy, Shotzi, and Huke. One day, like I'm doing like everybody's connections. I did Slasher's connection, like from Los Angeles, LA Optic. So after that, like shortly after Clayster, and this is why these guys are like winning. Like this is the difference that people don't know, that like separate like the cream of the crop from like, you know, like the average like player base.
Right.
Clayster hits me up. He's like, bro, you think you could do an optimization like on our setups? And I'm like, oh yeah, like I'll be down to do that. So I did an optimization on Huke, no, not Huke, Shotzi, Illy, like all the four, their setups. And what I discovered was like when they're playing, you have to have, these are the like little things I was talking to you about. Like you have to have like little player cams that you have to send signals to the CDL with, so they could like see your face and stuff like that. And you have to have like a cam to like see like your actual controller, just to make sure it's integrity, you're not like cheating and stuff like that. So they had to have these 2 cameras. These two, like sending, you should know this, like sending like a YouTube video, uploading it to YouTube, dude, it takes ages, doesn't it? Like it takes super long. So that's a lot of data that's getting in front of your like actual internet. How I set them up was I put it where their gaming was completely like prioritized and everything like that. And those cameras didn't have like a effect on their actual gaming. Whereas like the rest of the league, well, that's for like everybody. I optimize in the league. But for like the rest of the league that didn't get optimization, their cameras were affecting like their bullet registration, their connection to the server and stuff like that. It was giving blow in their actual connection. So it turns out, and this is just because of their talent, they were probably going to win anyway. But Dallas Empire, guess who wins champs? Dallas Empire. Like, so that's when everybody was like, okay, now we could take this dude serious. So yeah, shout out to like Dallas Empire for them like actually doing it, bro. They got a ring. That's awesome.
Yeah, congrats to them, hey, man, and for you doing a good job, dude. That's a cool story. So that's interesting because I mean, like I guess like if you try to put that like in a pro sports environment, that's almost like, you know, a team having an upper, like I don't know, like you being injured and you trying to play against like a healthy team. Like I don't know if that's a good example or not.
Exactly. That's a perfect example. It's like you're trying to make the ball into the basketball hoop, but your ball is 2 pounds heavier than the optimized person's ball. That's like how I think of it. That's a good example. His ball is not only gonna make it into the hoop, but it's gonna make it into the hoop faster. So yeah. So it's really, I mean, for a sense of value period, like if you're into this is a tough one. I'm trying to like combine my thoughts. No, I would say the more like competitive or higher you are up on like the scale of things, like let's say like your COD pro or something like that. You're a huge streamer. For you, like you're a huge podcaster. It's the more value you get out of like optimized stuff. Okay. That's like definitely like a good definition. So like the public match, and I noticed this a lot, like the guy that plays public matches and stuff like that, if he got an optimization, it's really good. It's like extremely good, and like most of them love it, but it's not gonna make like the different, like they're not gonna see from their perspective the difference that like pros see from optimizations. Like pros, like Crimsix is a freak, bro. Like he literally was like, "Oh, dude, like I definitely like noticed the difference, man. Like literally, like I was just killing in like 2 seconds. I'm streaming and it's like not doing anything." And like he notices like the littlest things that's like someone like you and me won't notice. Like I wouldn't notice that, but he's like, I guess yeah, that's why he's there. He's a freak, man. Like, he's just talented, man.
That's why he's a pro and other people aren't.
Yeah, that's why he's a pro. Yeah. No, but those little stuff makes a huge difference, man. I'm telling you.
No, I believe it. Well, we got like 15-ish minutes left, so like I know we got some people in chat watching. So if you guys got questions that you want to ask, you guys can just drop them in chat, and we'll start answering them in like 10-ish minutes. If you guys are just viewing, you don't have to ask a question. It's cool. Just offering it in case anyone wants to interact. But something I was going to ask you is to kind of like pivot a little bit. You know, what are some of the common, like, because I think we have some people that tune into the podcast that, you know, are trying to get into streaming maybe, you know, they're just starting out. What is like, I know you have the guides and everything to go look at. So first off, if you're listening, you know, go to his Twitter. It'll be linked in the podcast details. You guys can go check out that guide. But just like off the top of your head here while we're chatting, what are like some common easy mistakes that aren't like anything crazy that maybe you see people do that if they were to change,
like streamers or gamers make?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the topic I really wanted to talk about because a lot of people. Yeah, this is like the most important topic that I really, because like I do my optimizations, but I just care about you as a, like I don't look at like COD player. Like, I'm not the type of person to look at a COD player and think he's different than like a regular person that's like playing pubs and stuff like that. Like, everybody's trying to get somewhere sometime.
Right.
So I'm looking at you as a person, looking at your goals and seeing like what's the most effective like way to get to your goals. Where people make mistakes, especially from streaming, is they're like, oh, bro, I'm gonna go ahead and like grind it out. I'm gonna spend like 10 hours streaming. Nobody's gonna be watching, but I'm gonna spend 10 hours streaming, and one day, like, that's gonna make it. When in reality, honestly, like, that's not the way to do it, and that's probably gonna fail. That's why like a lot of streams fail to this day. It's because Twitch is a destination. It's not like a platform of discovery. Like, you did it the correct way. You got on YouTube, started doing podcasts on YouTube. Somebody like looks at your podcast in like the esports realm with like really good like esports or gaming oriented people that you would never hear from. That's a value that people are going to see on YouTube because they could search it up. On Twitch, no, if you think about it from a viewer standpoint, when was the last time you went to page 4 and like watched a 0 view stream? Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's a huge thing that people have to change at first. Like, if you want to be a streamer, get on a different discovery platform. I don't care if it's TikTok, YouTube, something that's like crazy that people could find you. And then you could like focus on spreading your brand on Twitter. Because Twitter is like a destination platform as well. Spreading your brand on like Twitch and stuff like that. That's when people are going to like actually watch your streams, and that's going to make you successful. Because if you think about it, the big streamers now, first of all, like, they got there from streaming because they were the first one streaming. There was like, they were the entrepreneurs of streaming. Nobody thought it was like an actual business to stream or something like that. Like, bro, literally I was making YouTube videos 10 years ago or whatever, and my parents thought literally like it was a waste of time. They're like, bro, what is he doing? Like, that's weird, don't do that. And I regret it so much, bro. Like, literally I regret it. But as you as a gamer, like, you can't do what they did. Like, they were in a different like atmosphere because there weren't as much people streaming then. Now, like, you can't just turn up a stream and expect people to like just watch. Right. You have to prove something beforehand so they could click on that link to get to your stream. And then like with your devices and stuff, dude, like the amount of money that people waste, like just waste in like products, which I get it. Like, marketing, bro, marketing like, it's a big thing, man. Like, when it comes to monetary value, the amount of money that people waste on that $300 extra product that gives them a 1% increase of difference to their lives is absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, from my standpoint, I would rather you have an optimal setup and you have that money in the bank account for a rainy day than you splurge out on like a setup, and then next thing you know, like, something happens. Let's say like, oh, your GPU crashes. You can't buy another GPU because you don't have anything saved, right? Because you spent too much money on like those same products. So that's like another issue that gamers really have to be aware of. Because you don't have to spend like, you're not doing like what Dr. Disrespect is doing, where you need like a 3090 to do like all those graphics. You know how like he starts up his stream like with like the graphics, he's driving in the car and so you're not doing all that, so you don't exactly. I'm like, bro, like, am I watching a show? Like, what's going on? You don't have to do what he's doing, right? Like, you're not doing it on that level yet. You have to do it progressively. So just start off with something light for now, and then when you start off with something light, you'll know what you want in the future, and you could grow from that. And you could like invest your money more securely. Like, right now, I probably haven't, like, I can go get out like a brand new like record smashing like PC or something like that, build it and stuff and try to game on it. Dude, literally, like, I haven't bought a PC for like years, bro. Like, years. Like, I started a whole business like if you think about it, I started a whole business and I saved most of that money from like the optimizations. Like literally I don't have like a good monitor, still 60 hertz. My PC is $200. My headsets are $20. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
So definitely like save up your money and just use it more wisely. That's why we need your business, man. Like, that's why we need the business, bro.
Listen, I'm gonna pitch in on this rant because I just think it's an important topic, and I think that you hit like on a lot of really good things. So yeah, first off, I completely agree. This whole mentality, if you're just starting out as a streamer, this mentality that like it seems to be the common thing to where you need to go on Twitch and you need to stream for 8 to 10 hours a day. Like you're saying, probably when you're starting out with 0 or 1 viewers, and you just got to grind that out because you're gonna eventually just hit all of these viewers while not doing anything else. It doesn't make any sense to me, because I think that a better use of your time would be, like you said, doing different things. You know, create some content where, like, you know, stream for 3 hours, and then from your gameplay, create like clips for a couple of hours. Then go, you know, network with other people, like meet other people, like find your niche. Like you're saying, do something so that when people search you on YouTube, you know, you're not just in the thousands of pages that everybody else is at, and there's nothing that separates you because you're all just sitting there, you know, streaming for 8 to 10 hours. So I can agree. Listen, bro, I don't know if you guys can see this on stream, man. Listen, this is how I started the podcast. I've been waiting to do you guys, it's not gonna focus, can you? I'm in a closet,
dude. That's literally the way, bro.
On a laptop, okay?
On a laptop, yep. Like, that's how it starts, man.
A cheap laptop. So just like I'm just preaching with you. Like if you're starting out, like you just gotta be smart. You know, don't overspend. Like. There's a lot of products, I'm not gonna single any out, but like there's stuff you just like really don't need that, like you're saying, the marketing hits and you're like, oh my god, I need this.
I need it. Like Nvidia, they were perfect at marketing this season because what they did was hold graphics cards. So like at launch, you would think like as a consumer, because nobody got a graphics card, so they're like, oh man, like I need graphics cards. So you're like more likely to buy graphics cards because they held it. They spread the market so thin that once they release a graphics card again, where it's gonna be like a lot of them out there, you're gonna guarantee buy it. Probably right. Smart marketing, like the psychological like aspect of it, bro. Like that's an interest as well.
Yeah.
But the two things that I think about is what the kind of content I make, right? Because I need to focus on that as well. Like I need to start like making YouTube videos and stuff like that. If I make content, is it gonna make me money in the long run? Like if you aren't live on Twitch, you're not making money if you're not live. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, but if you post a video to YouTube, you're going to make that passive like income where it's going to make you money like while you sleep. So that's a good source. And plus it's going to make you money because it brings people to your Twitch, which when you're live, it's going to make you money. You know what I mean? So it's like a compounding interest. So regarding like Twitch streams, if you're just starting out, do not stream. I wouldn't say don't stream. You can stream like an hour or two a day, but I would rather you stream for 3 hours, use those 5 hours to gain a skill, get the skill of like doing Photoshop, Adobe Premiere Pro, like learning how to video edit and stuff like that. And from those skills, you offer those skills to other people. And when you get that money that you offer to other people, you could upgrade. From that money, you could upgrade like your actual setup, and then you could like create like content and stuff like that, and then you get into streaming. That's how the smart person like would actually do it. But yeah, man, like gamers have to focus on like just building something where like the money's thing. Like that's a huge problem in like just in our world in general, man. Like there's not a lot of ways to do it. So definitely recommend that.
That was a good segment right there. That's gonna be a clip later for us.
That's huge.
That was some good. That was some good speaking right there. But all right, let's go to chat because I see there are some questions and I definitely want to like acknowledge them and let them pick your mind. So Guns Jr. he said or she said, can you ask him if he can a beginner guide to build a PC, like how to put the parts? So do you do like
how to put the parts and stuff like that? Oh, okay, yeah, I can definitely make a guide like that. That's actually like a really good one. So I'm gonna make a guide regarding if you're like, and it's really hard because so many parts are so different, and it really depends on like the parts you have. But I could make a general guide of like how to put the parts together. I already made a guide about like the parts you need, or like the parts that will provide you the most value. So yeah, I'll definitely make that guide about how to put them together. That's actually a really good like suggestion.
There we go. Content in the works.
Content. Yep.
French asked, "Hey man, what is better for gaming, 1020 or 300?
I would say neither, because you're not thinking of it correctly. Most people think about, oh, I need the best speeds for gaming, when in reality you need the lowest latency. In terms of like speed wise, like if you already have like the lowest latency, of course 300 is going to be better, because 300 is fiber most likely, and the 1020, that's going to be cable internet. Fiber internet's going to be, of course, better for gaming in general, just because if you have more people on your line, it's not going to affect you as much, but it still affects you like a lot if you think about it. So definitely I would focus more on latency no matter what you have, but definitely the 300 is probably better.
Okay, I'm learning as well as we go through here. This is great.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm in Florida with you, so I need all the help.
Like Florida's just
internet. So, all right, and then we got Steadies, who also asked, "I'm wondering if I can make 100 megabytes work to stream and game. I don't got anything better than that in my area, sadly." So thoughts on that?
So regarding what he says, just from my understanding, like people that usually say that, he probably has cable or DSL, and they didn't tell him how much upload he's getting, because that's like a huge thing that ISPs do. Don't look at the download that you're getting. Look at the amount of upload. You want like the maximum amount of upload, because that's the bottleneck really, like in internet connections. Because when you're sending a stream out like this one, you're using it on your like you're sending through your upload. You're sending like information. So you want the maximum upload possible to be able to like send those like signals out. Regarding 100 megabytes, like if you had 100 megabytes upload, you're more set than me, brother. Like, you know what I mean? All you really need is like 30 upload, 20 upload, and you'll be like set for gaming. Well, I would say 30, 20. That's like if you got like an optimized 20, that's good. But like 30, just base out is probably what I would go with. If you're trying to stream and game at the same time.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, like, so I just moved to a new apartment like 3 months ago. I never knew that. I'm gonna be completely honest. I was like ignorant to the fact. I saw the download number so high, and I'm like, dude, heck yeah, like look at my download.
Download, like
you know. And then I started to like kind of see. I don't know who mentioned it. It might have been you. It might have been someone else. But I saw on socials that like upload is definitely way more important than download. And
upload's key, man, because you like, even bro, for a content creator standpoint, like it's even more important to them, because you're probably the guy rendering the video, then you gotta upload it to YouTube. If your upload's like only 30 compared to someone with fiber with like 1,000, it's gonna take like all day to like upload. You know what I mean? And definitely like with Tampa, like you should get Frontier Files, brother.
Oh, I do.
Frontier Files is the best in Tampa. I'm telling you, man.
Dude,
like that thing is nuts.
Frontier, yeah. I got the Frontier.
You got
fiber.
Frontier?
Yeah.
Bro, you're set.
Yeah.
You're set. Like, you're set. Like, that's such good internet.
It's pretty good. I'll send you screenshots. We can talk about that later. I'll send you screenshots of the upload. I was surprised when I found out the upload was more important. I was like, shoot, man, like, doing good over here. 1,000.
Yep.
And shout out to Frontier, too, because if you guys can get it, I don't know, like, what their service areas are, but we'll plug Frontier real quick. I'm paying for 500 megabytes download. Their monthly bill is only $55 for it, which,
dude,
I've heard people spend like $100 for like the 250 megabytes. Which
dude,
is nuts
pro player Blatz. Funny story. His DSL internet or his cable internet is $80, and he only gets 50 down and 5 up. You're getting fiber with like you're getting fiber and with lower cost too. So that's the huge difference, bro. It's like actually insane.
It is. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, nice. Okay. Any other questions? We'll wait a second here. But we will start to kind of wrap things up, dude. This has been great, honestly. What would you
just to
go ahead, yeah.
talk about guns? He said I should get paid for that idea. I wouldn't mind it. Like if you like, this is what like more players or more people have to do in the gaming community. If you literally research and make a simplistic guide and put that together and send it to me, and then I could go in detail and advance off of that guide, I will literally pay you for that. I would literally pay you for that. So if that could happen, like I'm definitely down with it, brother.
Hey, let's go. Opportunities out here for
opportunities.
People.
Yep.
You're in the right place, right time. Now just
right
deliver. Nice. Well, I'm trying to think of like what's like one good last five. I mean, let me just ask you. I'll open up to you before we like wrap things up here. Like, if there's anything else that you want to like get out on the podcast that you think is like valuable, like a quick tidbit, something that like maybe comes up in conversation, a comment for you, like what would you share or what would you say that you think might deliver value to either, you know, people listening here live or when they're catching the podcast version?
I would say that my like greatest. Okay, so you're asking for like the maximum value. I would say don't. This is a tough one. It all comes back to money in the end. Don't spend on more products. Spend on a good product and a good service. Like that's what I would say. Even if it's not my service, look for people that like video editors and stuff like that will bring you value in the long run and like just save you just save you like money in general. Because literally, like from what I realized and I learned just from doing this is that instead of me literally picking up like a financial book or a financial document, I was literally doing it last night, man. Like I tried to like go in, see like what's the best for taxes and stuff like that, and what's like the most optimal. Instead of you spending your time doing that, you could spend your time on like your craft and have outsource that to work for you. Like that's what a lot of people are missing in the gaming community, especially if someone like we were talking about what's the best way to blow up. Like content creators, they don't edit their own videos. Like I don't know if like a lot of people know that, but they don't edit their own videos. They don't do their content. They don't do their thumbnails. They all have that outsourced. So they could focus on their craft, especially like pro players and stuff. So if you did that, like that would bring like the most value to you. And I'm not talking about someone that's going to charge you like a supreme, like crazy amount or something, but something that you know that's actually going to provide you value for what you want to do in the future. So time management, I would say just time management.
I agree.
But just for somebody like getting into like the esports community, because bro, people used to tell me every day, they're like, dude, like there's not a market for this. Like, what do you mean? Like you're going to start a business for optimizations and stuff like that. It's not there until you create it. Like it's not there until you create it. That financial thing that you're talking about, like that financial business, it's like, nobody's doing that. Nobody's gonna realize it until it blows up. Then when like they realize it, like there's no like your competition is gonna be like right here, and you're gonna be right here. So definitely like focus on your skills and learn a skill if you want to go into the esports community. And if you have no way to show your value, do it. Like I'm telling you guys, just do it for free. Like do it for free at first, show your value, and then I guarantee that you're gonna get like have a good business moving forward.
For sure. You got completely your call. I don't want to take up too much of your time. You got one or two more questions here. You want to answer them? Or,
yeah, that's fine.
You cool with it? Okay. Someone asked, they said, how am I only getting 90 to 100 frames with a 2080 Super, and others are getting 140 to 150?
Like these, like those type of questions are really like specific. Like wow off my service, because like though, for example, he only listed his graphics card, he only listed the frames, But what game are you running? What CPU do you have? Do you have a good motherboard? What about your memory? Like that, it could be so many factors that is limiting you on your gaming that I wouldn't be able to answer that accurately. Okay. It's most likely that he's probably running Cold War and he's only getting like 100 frames and people are getting 150. But what gamers don't realize is they focus on their graphics card when in Modern Warfare, in like any Call of Duty, your CPU is way more important than your actual graphics card. So it's probably your CPU bottlenecking you, or it's probably like something like your motherboard and memory not functioning correctly.
Got you. And you know, I mean, I'm assuming you take DM, so maybe hit him with the DM.
So definitely hit me up DM, and I'll try to help you out, brother.
Yeah. And then the last question here before we wrap things up is, what are some good editing softwares that are good to use for uploads on YouTube?
What are some good editing software? If you're starting out, I would use probably Sony Vegas because it's really simplistic. Adobe Premiere is like the top editing software. But it's literally, bro, it's like you gotta spend weeks learning that. Like I try to with computer, man. like so have a good PC, spend weeks learning it, and I promise you Adobe Premiere is probably gonna be the most benefit. If you're just starting out, I would use Sony Vegas because it's just like an edit here and there, and it's still really good as a software. And then like you could move forward from there with your editing and stuff.
Okay, cool. Well, dude, first off, thank you, man, for coming on. This was great. It was cool to you kept popping up on my Twitter timeline. I kept seeing you. I was like, what is this kid doing? And then I got to see what you were doing, and I was like, this is so niche and so cool that I was like, I got to reach out, see if I can have him on the pod. So, dude, thank you for taking the time for coming on here.
No, thank you, man. And I hope the success on like that financial business. We need that in esports, man. Just continue with that. And just thank you for taking your time just cover my story.
Yeah, no problem. And for you know, if you guys are catching this on Twitch for the first time, like I said at the beginning, I'll mention here at the end, the podcast, the first 60 episodes, so every episode but this one has been on Apple, Spotify, and Google. So this episode with Sweat will drop on Thursday. So if you guys didn't catch the whole thing, if you're maybe coming in a little bit late here and you want to check it out, you guys can check it out on there. That's a wrap, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you guys.
Have a wonderful rest of your night.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys next week on another episode of the Lodgz Podcast.